In the dim light of a late-night cafe, a man in a black hoodie hunched over his laptop, fingers flying across the keyboard. Outside, the crescent moon hung like a silver coin, casting a spotlight on the bustling streets of New Algorand, where digital dreams collided with gritty reality. "Are you seriously coding another cryptocurrency?" A voice piped up from the shadows. It belonged to Lola, a sharp-witted journalist with a knack for sniffing out stories like a bloodhound. She slid into the booth across from him, her eyes glinting with mischief. "The last one nearly got you arrested." "Dark coin is different," Felix replied, a grin creeping onto his face. "This one isn't just a currency, it's a revolution. It's decentralized, anonymous, and get this, backed by the moonlight. The more people use it, the more we reclaim the night from the corporations." "Right, because nothing says trustworthy like a coin that sounds like a villain from a comic book." She shot back, raising an eyebrow. But as she leaned in closer, the glow of the laptop screen framed her face with an otherworldly light, and Felix could see her curiosity peaking. "Show me what you've got." Felix turned the screen towards her, revealing a sleek interface with the dark coin logo, a crescent moon cradling a dark coin, glimmering as if it held secrets of its own. "It's built on the Algorand chain, which means it's fast and scalable. No more waiting for transactions while some middleman takes a cut." Lola crossed her arms, skepticism etched on her features. "And how do you plan to get people to use it? The last thing anyone wants is another empty promise backed by a guy in a hoodie." "Ah, but that's where the fun begins," Felix said, leaning back. "I've been working on a launch event. Picture this, a midnight scavenger hunt across the city with clues leading to hidden dark coins. The first clue unlocks a prize pool that grows with every transaction, will create buzz, and before you know it, dark coin will be on everyone's lips." She paused, weighing the merits of his plan. The more she thought about it, the more the idea tickled her imagination. "You think people will scour the streets at night for a coin? Why not? People love a challenge. Plus, the anonymity factor. It's liberating. No one will know who's participating, which draws in the thrill seekers and the rebels alike." Felix leaned forward, his enthusiasm palpable. "We can pitch it as a way to reclaim their financial freedom." Lola contemplated, tapping her fingers on the table. The cafe hummed with ambient chatter, coffee machines sputtering like impatient children. She could sense the pulse of the night, the energy crackling under the surface. "Okay, I'm in. But you'd better make this launch something I can write home about." As the days passed, Felix and Lola worked tirelessly, weaving a tapestry of excitement around Dark Coin. Flyers appeared on street poles, social media buzzed with rumors, and whispers of a treasure hunt spread through the undercurrents of New Algorand. With each passing day, the city seemed to come alive, as if the moon itself was pulling the strings. The night of the launch arrived, draped in a velvety darkness punctuated by flickering streetlights. Felix stood at the center of a gathering crowd, the crescent moon overhead casting a silvery glow. He could hardly contain his excitement as he surveyed a sea of curious faces. "Welcome, night owls," he boomed, his voice echoing against the buildings. "Tonight marks the beginning of a new era, an era where your financial destiny is in your own hands." He could see the smiles and raised eyebrows. Some held phones, ready to capture the moment. Lola stood by his side, her gaze sharp and focused, ready to document every twist and turn. "Let the hunt begin," Felix shouted, raising a compass in the air. "Your first clue awaits at the Overlook Bridge." A surge of energy swept through the crowd, and like a pack of wolves released from their pen, they darted into the night. Felix and Lola exchanged incredulous glances, their laughter mingling with the exhilaration of the moment. "Do you really think they'll get it?" Lola asked, her heart racing as they followed the crowd. "Of course. They're all fueled by the thrill of discovery. Just watch." Felix clapped his hands together, basking in the frenzy he had orchestrated. But as the night wore on, an unexpected tension began to seep into the atmosphere. A group of corporate goons, clad in tailored suits, emerged from the shadows, their faces darkened by disdain. They were the very same people Felix had hoped to disrupt, the gatekeepers of the old financial order. "What's this nonsense, Felix?" one of them sneered, stepping forward. "A scavenger hunt for coins? You think you can just create currency out of thin air?" Felix straightened, heartbeat quickening. It's not nonsense. It's a movement. Lola moved to stand beside him, a fierce light igniting in her eyes. People want freedom, and they're tired of being controlled by suit-wearing sharks who profit off their ignorance. Well, let's see how long that freedom lasts, another goon spat, reaching into his pocket. Felix felt a surge of panic. In this city, shadows could turn deadly. Just as he opened his mouth to respond, the goon tossed a small device to the ground. It exploded with a blinding flash, sending startled participants sprawling. "Run!" Felix yelled, grabbing Lola's wrist as they sprinted into the night, the sound of chaos echoing behind them. They weaved through the streets, the city morphing into a labyrinth of shadows, the thrill of the hunt now tinged with danger. "Did you expect them to take this lying down?" Lola yelled between breaths, her face flushed. "I didn't think they'd show up like this." Felix shot back, his heart a chaotic drum. The moon loomed overhead like a silent guardian, urging them on. "You need to do something," she urged, her voice rising above the din. "A counterattack. Use the app." Felix fumbled with his phone, fingers trembling as he navigated to the Darkcoin platform. "I can trigger an alert." "Forget the alerts. Make it a spectacle." Lola's eyes sparkled with mischief. "Broadcast this entire fiasco live. Show the world the truth." "Are you nuts?" Felix laughed nervously, but he nodded. She was right. The world needed to see this. With a few taps, he went live, broadcasting their frantic escape. "This is Felix Mendoza, and we're live at the launch of Darkcoin. What was supposed to be a celebration has turned into a confrontation with the old guard of finance. Watch as we reclaim the night." The camera captured the chaos behind them. The corporate goons, the crowd now turned rebels, eyes alight with a mix of fear and determination. The world tuned in, and as it did, something shifted. The tide turned as the participants rallied, forming a united front against the suits. Armed with their phones, they recorded the truth and began chanting for their freedom. In the climax of the night, Felix found himself at the forefront, adrenaline pumping, as they faced off against the opposition. "We are the night," he shouted, echoing the rallying cry that had taken hold of the crowd. The moon shone brighter, as if in approval. And just like that, the corporate goons, facing the fierce resolve of the crowd and the power of the live stream, began to retreat, their confidence shattering like glass under the weight of the community's spirit. As the moon rose high, the crowd erupted into cheers, their voices echoing through the streets of New Algorand. Darkcoin was no longer just a currency. It was a symbol of rebellion, independence, and the promise of change. After the dust settled, Lola and Felix lingered at the edge of the crowd, catching their breath. "You did it," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, a smile tugging at the corners of her lips. "You really did it." Felix turned to her, a mix of exhilaration and disbelief swirling inside him. "We did it. Darkcoin is alive." The moon, now a full orb in the night sky, glimmered down on them, a silent witness to the birth of something extraordinary. The world was changing, and in that moment, under the light of the crescent moon, Felix knew they were just getting started.